What's good, YouTube? We back, man. It's BurdsEyeView, man, where we're going to be talking about a lot of different sports topics, mainly HBCUs, because, of course, I played at HBCU, coached at HBCU, graduated twice from HBCU, so, of course, it's always HBCU love. But we're going to talk about a lot of different sports, man, a lot of hot topics going on, especially with it being early National Signing Day. Man, listen, it's hard to look past what Coach Prime is doing in Colorado, what Alabama, of course, is doing right now, which is something they do every year. But it's pretty fantastic with the 5 stars that they're still putting in, even on technically a down year for Bama. You know, no SEC championship, no college football playoff berth. So that means, of course, no national title. They did get a bowl game, so of course we'll see if they finish that off. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. Yesterday was. We call it Flipmas, right? Like, people flipping left and right, man. Like, I mean, you go on Twitter and every time you refresh your page, man, you seeing a kid commit, seeing a kid sign, and it's of course it's a great day for those kids, man. And definitely shout out to all the kids that signed yesterday and they're still gonna sign, man. But we're gonna get into some of these recruitment classes, man, for sure. And as far as the HBCU world, I'm not gonna lie, man. I really like what the SWAC is doing right now in terms of recruiting when it comes to certain schools. I really like what FAMU is doing. I like they're loading up. They're skill position guys. I like exactly where they are, honestly. Of course, they got Musa coming back. They got some guys that's gonna come in there for sure. That's gonna compete and play right away. See, Alcorn got that 4-star quarterback, that 4-star QB. So of course, I mean, they definitely needed a QB, so that's gonna be something that we're gonna look at here. So I see Isaiah Land just accepted his Senior Bowl invite. That's tough. Him and Aubrey Miller from Jackson gonna be there, so that's what's up. Got 2 SWAC representatives going to the Reese Senior Bowl, so that's always good. But yeah, let's get into these recruiting classes real quick. Let's look a little bit deeper into them. Yeah, I really like what FAMU's doing as well, man, for sure. And SWAC, when you take a look at, of course, I know they signed the kid from FAU who didn't, his numbers wasn't eye-popping, but I mean, he was able to keep a guy that's in state and, keep him in state in the transfer portal. So that's good. I mean, of course, you got the kid from the Jacksonville State kid that had over 50 tackles, is the DB. So I like that kid. Of course, they signed a punter. Their special teams game is always known to be, really, really good at FAMU. So, of course, they beefed up a little bit on the offensive line. I see they got that one kid that signed, the DB, the kid out of high school, the Somerset kid. Yeah, I like him too as well. They got some guys, man. They definitely got some dudes to come in that they can definitely contribute right away. I feel like it's gonna be, the SWAC is gonna be wide open when you look at the fact that, of course, Coach Prime leaving, a lot of the guys going to Boulder, going to other places, guys declaring for the draft from Jackson. So it's going to be interesting in the SWAC for sure. The SWAC's wide open. I mean, the SWAC is going to be wide open. It's really a lot of teams to take, honestly. I mean, you can look at Jackson, you can look at FAMU. Of course, you can look at Southern. You'll be able to look at Alcorn. It's going to be wide open for really who could actually. I tell you what, whoever has the best quarterback player is going to win the SWAC. I mean, we see this time and time out. We see this the last 2 years. Whoever has the best quarterback player is going to win the SWAC. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. You have a lot of different programs that have great running backs. There's some dogs. There were some dog running backs in the SWAC this year, man. So, teams are going to have backs. But the team that really separates themselves in the SWAC, they've got the quarterback. So, I mean, right now, who's the best quarterback in SWAC? I mean, Jeremy Musa and FAMU, we'll say 1. 2, I really like Andrew Body, man. I like Andrew Body at Texas Southern, man. I like how dynamic he is. I really, really like that for sure. I feel like if he could work on his deep ball accuracy a little bit more, the short game's not that bad. Like I said, his athleticism is really good. So I mean, his escapability, he's gonna definitely, you're gonna have to, make sure you contain him in the pocket, because when he gets outside the pocket, that's his best part of his game. His best part of his game is athleticism. So I definitely like Andrew Body. And if I had to say a number 3, third best quarterback in the SWAC, man, it shouldn't even be this hard, right? I guess you could say the kid from Bama State. I'm gonna tell you what I also like, man. With TC Taylor, what they say, Taylor gang. I like that. I love what TC Taylor is doing right now. in Jackson. When you look at, of course, losing all those guys in the transfer portal, where they had like a record number at one point, like 35, like that's crazy. That's like a 30-year team. So trying to get guys to, jump back out the portal, seeing who's going to stay, who's not going to stay, still being able to recruit, bring high school guys, JUCO guys, D1 bounce back guys in. I really like what he's doing, man. Like when you look at the fact that, of course, the highlight is Seven McGee, the athlete from Oregon, I mean, that kid right there is explosive. He's explosive. You can line him up at running back. You can line him up at receiver. He can play inside. He can play outside. He's definitely a big-time athlete for them, and he's going to be somebody that they're going to lean on for sure. I also like that back they brought in from Wofford, man. That back can tote it a little bit, bro. I really like him. If they can keep Wilkinson, Savion, they can keep Wilkinson there, and you spell him with the kid from Wofford a little bit. I really like what they can do with that. Now, of course, they got to get a quarterback. And I know they got the JUCO kid. They got that JUCO kid from Mississippi, from Holmes Community College, the Philip Short. 6'2", about 215, 220, big size, big QB. Gonna have to fill in some big shoes, obviously, right? You're gonna have to sit here and come behind, Shedeur Sanders, who just lit it up and set records at Jackson. So he's got big shoes to fill. But I mean, I feel like that's a good start. That's a good start because, of course, the backup quarterbacks that were in Jackson this season, let's face it, they weren't really good at all. At least from what we saw. We only saw one. We saw JP, and I mean, that speaks for itself. So I really like that at least they went and got a guy that's proven in a sense, because he has won. The Philip Short, he's won. So they got a winner. He hasn't won at this level, but at least it's someone that got experience. Okay, we can see what he, at least got something to work with. Of course, I feel like they need to go get somebody else. They need another quarterback. You need a quarterback battle. They need two comparable quarterbacks that can just go at it. And then, we go with the best one. Of course, they got the linebacker out of Lancaster, out of Texas. That was a big pickup. We love the DB, of course, Tristan. The 4-star DB that they got out of Florida, that was clutch to keep him. That was really, really clutch to keep him. And the receiver, the receiver that they got as well, the high school receiver, that was big time to be able to keep him. The Kendall kid from Newport High School in Arkansas, that was a big time recruit for them to be able to keep. Of course, they're already loaded at receiver. I saw Shane Hooks hit the portal yesterday. Of course, they lost, Dallas Daniel. Of course, Kevin Coleman hit the portal. So it's gonna be interesting at receiver. I mean, they still got Willie Gaines, they still got Quay Davis. We don't know what Malachi Wideman's gonna do. So they still got some comparable receivers, man. They still got Powers. They got Rico Powers. So it's like, they still got some athletes over there. And you add in the Seven McGee, you add in, the high school freshmen you brought in. You gonna have to help the offensive line. I mean, you lost what? You've lost multiple offensive linemen, transfer portal, declaring for the draft. So you're going to have to replace the offensive line a little bit. I know they brought in the one kid from Mississippi, the Shamar Allen. They brought him in, 6'5", 320. That's a good guy to bring in. Hopefully he can come in, and contribute right away for that offensive line. But, only 2 offensive line commits so far? 2 big guys, though. There's 2 guys that I feel like can come in and definitely contribute right away. One 6'4", 330. The other one 6'5", 320. We'll see what Colorado does, because I mean, them right now at 29, they're trending nowhere but upward. They're not gonna go back. I don't see them getting. I mean, what you got? 24 commitments. You have 24 commits right now. And a lot of them pretty much signed. I mean, you got a West Virginia transfer, a Clemson transfer. You got the 3 Jackson State transfers with Shedeur, Tyler Brown, which is a huge pickup in the interior offensive line. You got Travis Hunter, of course, the #1 player in the country. You got Coates, the D lineman for Dartmouth, who's just he's just a dog. He's like a junkyard dog, man. This is just a nasty, aggressive player, something that you want. You got the offensive tackle from Kent State. He was the right tackle at Kent State. He's 6'8", 340. Kent State led the MAC in rushing. If you know football, a lot of the times the right tackle is your best run blocker. Your left tackle is your best pass blocker, overall blocker. So, he was the right tackle for the team that led the MAC in rushing. 6'8", 340. You get him. You get the linebacker from Clemson. You get the edge rusher from West Virginia. On top of the, they signed, on top of the, the 16 high school kids they signed. I mean, it's gonna be pretty interesting, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. They got some guys coming in there, man. That's gonna contribute. It's gonna contribute right away, and it's gonna be interesting where this goes. And let's also take a look at these FCS recruiting rankings, man. Shout out to Blue Bloods, man. At the Blue Bloods on Twitter, keeping having daily updates all the time, man. So shout out to you, Blue. These FCS recruiting rankings from 274 Sports right now is pretty interesting. I mean, of course, we already know about Campbell. Maybe some of y'all don't know about Campbell. I've been following what Campbell has been doing on the recruiting trail since last season. Them and Jackson just going 1-2 in the FCS. Pretty much, the last 2 years and going on 3 years, it's just been Campbell and Jackson 1-2 at the top of the FCS when it comes to recruiting. Coach Mentor, man, listen, man. He got something going on in Campbell, bro, and I'm trying to tell you, I ain't trying to jack, Dion, Coach Prime with the, he's coming and they coming, but Campbell on the way. They coming, man, for real. You got to think, man, this Campbell team right now, the only FCS team in the top 100 when it comes to overall recruiting. We're talking about FBS and FCS, just overall D1 recruiting as a whole. I mean, Campbell is number 83 right now, only FCS team inside the top 100. It's remarkable. To say the least, it's remarkable what Campbell is able to pull off. And I like that team, man. I like where they're headed. I love their coach. I love everything he represents. Of course, a former NFL DB. He has a legit 4-star DB there. That was a true freshman this past season. That they're really, really high on. They have high expectations for, man. So Campbell, man, I like Campbell. And then of course, you got Jackson. People sleeping, man. But what TC Taylor Gang is doing in Jackson, his very first head coaching opportunity, man, first week, they're second in the FCS in recruiting in the nation. So obviously they're number one in the SWAC if they're second in the FCS. Of course, you got FAMU at 6. FAMU is doing a remarkable job. Willie Simmons. And what that boy Oscar say, they be Willieing it up. Well, he Willieing it up in recruiting right now. I gotta get it to Willie, man. He doing some great things right now, man. And like I said, the SWAC is wide open. So it could be possibly FAMU's to lose in a sense. They could be they should be the favorite coming into the to the 23 SWAC season, but we'll see. I see Texas Southern, rounding out the top 10 at number 10, man. Listen. Put some athletes around Andrew Body. You got a decent quarterback. You really do got a decent quarterback. Andrew Body is listen, bro. Andrew Body is not a scrub, bro. He's far from a scrub. So you got a top 5 quarterback in your conference, arguably top 3. So just put some weapons around him. Put some weapons around him on the outside. You got a good running game. You got a good running back. Put some weapons around him on the outside, man. And I really feel like that Texas Southern team can make some noise, man. That Texas Southern team really can make some noise, man. But I like that, man. Campbell won. I mean, ranked 83rd in the nation right now. 83rd. I mean, they're above FBS teams right now, man. And they're not done either. Listen, man. Campbell is on the way to the level that they want to be at. And I'm happy for Mike Mentor, Coach Mentor, and what he's doing. And turning around that program and elevating them to a high level, man. So it's gonna be pretty interesting, man. When you look at all the recruits that are still pouring into these FCS programs, particularly Campbell, Jackson State, FAMU, others in the SWAC, Alcorn is getting some recruits, Southern. So it's gonna be interesting, man. I still think the SWAC is still gonna be something that, even though Coach Prime is gone, it's still going to be something that people are going to tune into, because you got to think, like, now everybody wants to see, now the narrative is, okay, what is the SWAC going to look like without Coach Prime, without all the 4 and 5 stars that Jackson had? What is it going to look like now? What is Jackson going to look like? With TC Taylor, with a whole new coaching staff, what is the offense going to look like? What type of defense are they going to run? Are they going to keep some of the same principles? It's going to be interesting. Don't sleep on Jackson. Obviously, I mean, they're back-to-back SWAC champions, but the fact that just because Coach Prime is gone and, a lot of players left, and listen, they're not gonna be trash. I don't see how they're gonna be trash next year. I don't see how they don't have over a 500 record. I mean, I don't see them falling off like that. They're recruiting enough and bringing in enough talented guys, and they still gonna have some talented guys that stay there. That they're not gonna be dog shit. They're not gonna be a bottom feeder SWAC team. That's not gonna happen. I don't see that. Will they beat FAMU? It'll be tough. That could be the best Orange Blossom. Well, that could be the best matchup we've seen with FAMU and with Jackson. That could be the best. I mean, that's 7-6 matchup last season, the 2021 season. That 7-6 matchup. I mean, it was just a defensive slugfest. So, man, if you like that type of game, that's the type of game that you like. That's cool. This year was just a complete washout. I mean, would they beat them by 56 or 59-3? So, round 3 could really possibly be the best overall game when it comes to excitement, it being a close game, and the atmosphere being there. So I'm interested to see a few things go down in the SWAC, man, because everybody is still keeping up with the recruiting. I don't want to say everybody because I don't know what the hell UAPB is doing. They just hired a coach, so at least they did that. They're not like Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman, at this point, y'all acting like y'all about to drop football. And I want y'all to comment down below. Comment in the comment section. Does Coach Prime in Colorado go bowling in 23? Do they go bowling? Do they win at least 6 games? And are they bowl eligible? Is it possible? I think so. My boy thinks so. I want to know what y'all think. Comment down below.